My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney, with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth. As part of the Secret Recordings Network, we have brand new episodes every other week, so make sure you subscribe. On this episode, we'll be chatting to Louise, who has just been to Disney World for the first time, her first Disney World visit. We'll find out what she thought and what made her cry on this episode of the podcast. Also getting your news updates and filling in with all the changes that are happening in Walt Disney World and answering your questions. If you have any questions, at PodMagical is where we are on the socials. Make sure you like and follow us on the socials. Ever want to get in touch with the question or you want to be a guest, don't be shy. Give me a shout. I'll see what I can do. There is a question that a few people have been asking me over the last week or two, and it's what my predictions are for D23. Now, just in case you don't know, D23 is a huge Disney fan event. Happens in California every other year. So think of Comic-Con, but for Disney. That's the best way to describe it. And this is where usual big announcements are made. So if you remember, you've probably seen the footage of Bob Iger when he announced Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And he went, we're not building one of these, we're building two of them. You remember that? You've seen that footage? Well, that was one of the big announcements from one of the D23s back in the day. Everybody was shocked and amazed and excited. The last few D23s, we haven't really had big, exciting announcements like that. This year, D23, well, the big night for park announcements will be on the 10th of August. So we will have another episode of this podcast before then. So it's a few weeks away. My predictions, well, some things I think will be updated on. That's probably the best way to describe it. Obviously, a lot of what's gone on in Disneyland Paris. So we'll get more updates about what's going on there. A few things that have already been announced. So, for example, Test Track at Epcot. I think we'll get a rough idea of what the new version's going to be like. We'll probably get some updates on what's going on at Animal Kingdom because we know that Dino Land is going. You know, we've seen the planning permits now, so we know that changes there. They told us in the last D23 blue sky ideas for bringing Indiana Jones and Encanto to that part of Animal Kingdom. So I think we'll get an update on that. It's going to be Tropical Americas will be the theme of that part. So I think we will get more concrete information about what's going in there. And also, I think they're going to tell us which animals are going in there. And I really do hope they will, because it's Animal Kingdom. So I don't just want them throwing a couple of attractions in there and ticking an Encanto and Indiana Jones box. I'd like them to completely theme that part of the park and keep it within the theme of the park. So, I don't know, maybe a tropical insect house or a reptile house or something. I don't know, just something that will fit Animal Kingdom. So we're getting more animals themed to that part of America for that part of the park. So I think we'll get a lot more news about Animal Kingdom. I think we'll get an update for Magic Kingdom, what's going to happen beyond Big Thunder Mountain. This has been hinted at before. They were kind of throwing some ideas that it might be like a Villain's Land or something like that. Here's what I think will be coming to Magic Kingdom. This is one of my predictions, right? I'm going to give you three predictions. So one of them, some sort of Cars attraction coming to Magic Kingdom beyond Big Thunder. We're not going to get Cars Land like they've got in California, which I think is a brilliant land, by the way, one of the best lands they've got in any park. But I think maybe one of the attractions, maybe a Radiator Springs. So I think it's going to be that kind of theme. So it fits beyond Big Thunder Mountain, that kind of like desert land. So I think there'll be a Cars theme going there. So I think we'll get that kind of update from Magic Kingdom. Epcot, there's not really much more to say because it's been pretty much almost finished. And because it's almost finished, here's another prediction for you. I think we will get an announcement that the end of Soarin' is going to change. So that final scene in Soarin' where you end up back soaring over Epcot doesn't look like that anymore. So I think a simple fix, a quick announcement, they will change the end of Epcot. So Radiator Springs, the end of Soarin', I think, and some animals for Animal Kingdom for that part of the park. I think that's going to be the updates. Maybe we'll get some news about a new nighttime show. I don't think we'll get a nighttime parade, even though we really want one. Maybe we'll get a new parade for Magic Kingdom, because I think it's about time we had a new parade. So maybe they will do a parade that can be daytime and nighttime, but I don't think they've got the space and capacity, especially they're going to do building work, to have all those new floats there as well. Maybe we'll get some sort of drone show, which they've been testing, and they've been kind of like dipping their toe in the water with the drone show at the minute over at Disney Springs. Obviously, Disneyland Paris is way ahead when it comes to drone shows and nighttime spectaculars, so I think they can learn a thing from there. Maybe somewhere like Hollywood Studios, I think, would benefit from a drone show. Maybe even because it's drones, maybe it's something they can do at Animal Kingdom to keep people in at night. I don't know. So I think we'll get that. I think we'll get DVC announcements. We know there's going to be a new lounge in Frontierland at Magic Kingdom. I think there'll be a new build as well. I think there'll be another hotel. We'll get an update on what's going on at the Polynesian. Maybe we'll find out when they're going to finish that flipping bake shop that's been built for years over at Boardwalk. Who knows? So we will have another podcast before D23. And then if there is like mega big news, because it's going to be around 3 o'clock in the morning, our time on Sunday morning, I ain't getting up that early. I will get up and watch it as soon as I get up on Sunday morning. So if there has been a lot of news and it's worthy of doing a news update podcast, I'll put a podcast out the day after. So make sure you're subscribed. And then if there is big announcements that are worthy of a news podcast, I'll do one. If not, I'll put it on all the socials. At Pod Magical is where we are. I hope that answered your D23 question. A few people are asking me that. Regretting answering that now. If you've got any questions, give me a shout on the socials. If you want to be a podcast guest, give me a shout as well. Let's catch up with Louise now and find out what her first ever trip was like. Well, we were actually at Disney World at the same time. There was a slight overlap, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Louise is on the podcast. Welcome back. Have you got over the Disney blues yet? It has been a couple of... No,
I'm not over it
still.
At all. Yeah, no, I'm still deep in my Disney blues at the minute.
My second week was your first week, so you went for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We had incredible weather for the entire 2 weeks, so that first week was definitely good for you. What was the second week after I left?
Second week wasn't so good. We definitely experienced some of the Florida storms.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to experience because it was my first time in Florida, so I was happy for it.
So you'd never been before?
No.
Now, you've done California and Paris before?
Yeah, both of those. So Paris when I was younger, we went twice as a family, and then I did California just completely on my own in 2016.
Right. Okay. So were you prepared for what Disney World was going to be like, or was it not what you were expecting?
Well, so I was always this was before I went, I was very like, I can't see how, for me, I felt like because of the size of Disney World, I thought the magic would be diluted. And I couldn't work out, or I couldn't understand how it would feel magic. Whereas I thought, Paris is smaller, it's cute, it's all pretty, you feel the magic, it's got my childhood memories.
Yeah.
And then California, it's the first one. So I thought, there's obviously a magic there. And so I was always very like, I'm not that interested in Disney World. I can't see how it's going to be as good as the other two, but completely wrong.
It blew you away.
Completely wrong. Yeah, so wrong. But yeah, it was amazing.
Did you find magic everywhere then, not just in the parks and the hotels and everywhere else in between?
Yeah. I really experienced the Disney bubble.
Yeah.
That is a thing which I heard loads of people talking about, and you hear people say things like the Disney bubble, and you can feel the magic, and it's a really, like, you feel safe, and it's a really nice community. And I was just like, I don't know, we'll see. But everything people say is completely true. It really is.
Did you leave the bubble at any point, or did you just literally do 2 weeks purely Disney World, not leaving it? Didn't leave at all?
No, we did leave.
Oh, you did leave.
The first week, we didn't leave it. And then we did Universal on the first Friday. Mm-hmm. And for that first week, even then I was like, no, these aren't my people. This isn't for me. It's all a bit, I don't know. And then we went to Universal, which I really enjoyed Universal. Then we came back, had the weekend at Disney, and then we did NASA on the Monday.
Oh, right, okay.
But to be honest, when I went to Universal, I was just like, I want to get back to Disney. And it was at that moment, it just clicked. And I was like, I just want to be back in that, you know, getting up, going on the Skyliner. And I just wanted that.
I think it's because when you're staying at Disney as well, it literally is home from home, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where did you stay on this trip?
So we stayed at Pop Century.
Yeah.
Originally, we actually planned to stay in All Stars.
Right.
All Stars, is it?
Yeah.
So we planned to stay there, but we actually changed because there was a cheer competition on.
Oh, yeah, the cheerleader competitions.
And my friends saw on the internet that they just take over the All-Star Resort. So we were like, okay, well, we want to see a cheerleader. Like, we've not got anything against cheerleaders. But we were just like, and we knew Disney was going to be loud. You know, there's kids there, there's family. But we were like, I don't know, let's just come away from there. We don't just want to be overloaded with cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So we actually moved to Pop Century, but I feel like we were destined for Pop Century because I just feel like that was when I was picturing it, I felt like I was picturing Pop Century. We had the Skyliner, which was amazing. I just fell in love with the Skyliner.
It's an attraction on its own, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. And yeah, it just felt like it was meant to be. I feel like that's my home resort. So
that's where you would go back if you went again, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Pop Century.
Yeah, 100%. If the budget wasn't, if there was no budget, I would consider a deluxe resort.
Yeah.
But I do think the Skyliner, it's
such an add-on for the two parts.
Yeah.
You can just jump on it.
Yeah, hugely. So, I don't know. I think if I went back, well, we don't say if, we say when. When we go back, we will be going to Pop Century again. Yeah.
How was the Skyliner at the end of the night, after particularly Epcot, when the fireworks finish and everybody's like, because I've walked past it and I've been in the queue. Yeah. And I see people lining up. How was that for you?
I feel like I didn't really experience massive queues on the Skyliner. When I watched Fantasmic, I managed to dart out of that park. I don't know how I managed that, but I got straight on the Skyliner and was off. And then, I didn't think... the longest wait was for a bus for me.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it really wasn't that bad, I didn't think. It felt very smooth and we would just get there and,
Hustle-free.
The way they load it as well, it goes really quick, the queue.
Yeah, it does. When you see it like sprawling out, you go, actually, it does keep moving.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Skylines, they just keep moving and so they just get people going. Let me go right back to your first ever trip to... Was Disneyland Paris your first one?
Disneyland Paris,
How old were you?
Oh my gosh. I would guess about 8.
What do you remember from that trip?
Well, I'm quite an emotional person, and my story from Disneyland Paris is always that I was watching the parade, and even at 8 years old, I was an emotional person for some reason. I was a happy child. I had a great childhood.
But if you're emotional, Disney is the worst place you can go, because if you want to cry for nothing, then Disney.
Yeah. So I was watching the parade as a little girl, and I started to well up and get tears in my eyes. And my mum passed me her sunglasses. So I was just like a little child there with these massive sunglasses on, just crying. And it wasn't because I was sad. I couldn't really explain, even now when I cry at stuff, I can't always explain what it is. But yeah, so that was my first memory, really.
Crying
watching the parade, feeling really happy.
How many times did you cry on your last trip? Did you cry on your last trip?
Yeah.
What got you going on the last trip?
So the big thing that got me going, and I knew this would get me, is... I don't know if this is a spoiler for people that haven't been, but I know most people probably have been that are listening.
Spoiler alert coming up.
But when Tinkerbell flies...
We all know about that.
I know everyone probably does know about that, but that gets me every time. But I think what it is it's the crowd's reaction. And I'm watching it and I'm like, gosh, that has really hit how they wanted it to, because everyone's gasping. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. And that makes me cry every time.
And I think it's the build-up of the music that you can fly. And at that point, and then there she is. Look at this. I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I know.
Just talking about it. Just talk about it. I'm like, like, somehow just gone up.
Yeah, exactly. So that gets me. I'm trying to think I can't think of another time that I did cry, but I definitely cried more than that. But yeah, I didn't cry.
The bill at the end on the checkout day?
No, we don't mention that.
We don't talk about
that. No, we don't. That's just we knew it was going to be an expensive trip, and we kind of just said, well, we were saying it's a once in a lifetime, but it's probably not a once in a lifetime. But we were saying, you know, we're on holiday, let's just enjoy it. And we wanted to experience it without having to worry. You know, we had money aside that we wanted to spend on merch and food. We didn't spend that much on food, really, to be honest.
Okay.
Mostly drinks. I feel like the heat really didn't make me want to eat that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we put some money aside that we were going to spend, and that was that. And we just didn't think. We just thought, you know what? We're in the bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back with Louise in just a moment. This is where we usually break off for a news update. As I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, D23, the big fan event, is happening in a few weeks' time. So there's going to be a lot of big announcements there. So between now and then, news coming from Disney World and the parks is going to be a little bit... not very much. There is going to be news next week of the brand new Disney Cruise Line, their next ship, the Destiny. All the details of that are going to be released from the 30th, with bookings going on sale on the 9th of August. Also, have you been to see the new Deadpool film yet? Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool will be meeting and greeting over at Disneyland Paris if you're going there over the summer holidays. And if you're going to Walt Disney World and you're going to dine at Be Our Guest, well, the Beast is back. Previously, well, when the restaurant first opened, you used to be able to meet the Beast as part of your dining package there. It's a set menu there. No breakfast at the minute. Then he went, and then he came back, but he was just kind of like walking through the restaurant and waving. But well, now the actual meet and greet with the Beast is back if you're dining at Be Our Guest. And if you want to cut a little bit of time when you're doing Rise of the Resistance over at Hollywood Studios, if you've done it quite a few times and you don't mind missing the first couple of scenes, then there is now a single rider line for that attraction. So your group will be split up. You missed the first couple of scenes, but if you've done it before and you just want to go into the main bulk of the attraction, it brings you into where the stormtroopers are. So if you want to try that, that's available now over at Hollywood Studios. If there is any news between now and the next podcast, I'll let you know all about it on our socials at PodMagical. We have Louise with us on her podcast, just back from her first ever trip to Walt Disney World. Let's talk about some of your favourite things that you encountered. Could you have a favourite attraction if I had to push you on it?
No.
Okay, next.
Not individually. I could in each park.
Right. Oh, some of your top attractions then, and why?
Okay, well, soaring. I love soaring, but I did soaring over California, California. So I already knew about that ride, but I do have a fondness for soaring. My biggest, amazing ride was Guardians. That was brilliant. We had, I can't remember what song. Oh, we had Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Meh.
Oh, I quite liked that one. And then we had, what was the other one? It's One Direction. Have covered it, and I can never remember what it is.
Oh, Blondie. One way or another.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
So we had those two. We only went on it twice. So that was Guardians. And then I really like the People Mover.
I love the People Mover. One of my favourite.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland. I don't know what it is about a People Mover.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's just relaxing, isn't it? And it takes you around. And yeah, there's something about People Mover. And then Everest. But I have a separate interest to Mount Everest, so that was just really nice for me to experience.
Why have you got an interest in Mount Everest?
I've just got separate.
You've just an obsession with Mount Everest.
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have, yeah.
Right, it's not the real one.
No, I know. And yeah, only on some angles. I was getting a bit silly with it because only on some angles you can see the actual Everest.
Oh.
There's like a little tiny bit. So that big spike is not actually Everest. It's the one just behind it.
Well, there we go. Let's get Joe Roddy on. He'll explain more about this. The man behind it. You mentioned about you didn't spend a lot on food. Did you go to any restaurants?
Yes, we did go to a couple of restaurants. We went to Be Our Guest.
Controversial, this Be Our Guest, because it used to be really good. And now a lot of people saying, a bit overhyped. Yeah,
I wasn't that impressed with it, to be honest. But we were saying if you've got someone that really likes Beauty and the Beast, it's worth it to just see the Beast, isn't it? And be in like their castle and stuff. But yeah, I wasn't that impressed with that. The food was just a bit salty for me.
Oh, okay.
Very, very salty. But it was for the money, it wasn't worth it, but it was an experience.
It's a bit one and done.
Yeah. And then Tuskers. I loved Tuskers.
Did you go breakfast, lunch, dinner?
We
Which
went
one?
breakfast.
Did you go end of breakfast so it overlaps into lunch?
No.
Oh, we need to do that next time.
Yeah, we did the very start. So I loved that. That was probably my favourite. We did Space 220 Lounge, which was good.
Yes. So you didn't do the actual 3-course
No, but
restaurant.
but she kind of said you could have anything off the menu.
Yeah.
When I was there.
So if you have the restaurant, you have to go off the 3-course set menu.
Yeah.
But if you go in the lounge, which is basically in the restaurant, they've got a lounge menu. And then if you want anything off the main menu, you can have that as well without committing to, I think it's like $90.
Yeah. So I just had a burger in there, which was perfect.
Yeah.
And that was really good. Yeah. And I guess that was I can't think of any others that we did. We probably did more, but I can't remember them.
But Space 220 you'd recommend?
Yeah, definitely.
Lounge.
Definitely. And Tuskers. That was really, really good. Yeah.
So what is your favourite memory from your trip to Walt Disney World? What's
Oh, gosh.
going to hold you forever?
Me and my friend keep mentioning this memory. And basically, we'd had a chilled resort day. This was on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, or was it Thursday? It was Wednesday or Thursday, it doesn't really matter. But we had a chilled resort day. We were just chilling by the pool. And then we were like, actually, we'll go somewhere for tea. So we went to the Grand Floridian for our tea. And then we were like, right, what should we do with the rest of the evening? And we timed it. This was not planned. We timed it. So we had our tea in the Grand Floridian Cafe.
Yeah.
And then we got on the boat to go into Magic Kingdom for the fireworks. But as we got to because the boat went from the Grand Floridian to the Polynesian, and as we were arriving at the Polynesian, it was starting Happily Ever After.
Oh, no.
So we could hear it, and we were like, oh my gosh, we're going to miss it. But then as we left there, the lady came, the boat driver came down and she was like, oh, girls, we're going to stop in the lake if you want to come and watch the fireworks out the front.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
No, I don't think they do.
Oh.
So we were like, oh my gosh. So we went and sat there. They stopped the boat, but we couldn't then hear Happily Ever After. Oh, this made me cry, actually, because what was playing on the boat was The Circle of Life.
Oh, right. So they're playing different music to what Happily Ever After.
Yeah, and The Circle of Life makes me cry every time. So I was there crying, filming. You could see the fireworks. It was amazing. And then they came down. She was like, oh, we're going to have to go now because people are waiting for the boat. So we were like, okay. So, but there was like a few other families and stuff on there. So then we carried on. We landed and then we were walking in just as Hercules, the bit of the Hercules song is on.
Oh, yeah.
And
Go the Distance.
Yeah, and that's one of my friend's favourite films. So we were like going into that, singing, and then we just got into the park. Tinkerbell flew, and then that was just the highlight for me because I think it was so spontaneous. And we both say that was just when we were both like, we felt the magic of Disney.
Yeah.
We really did. So yeah, it was really good. But as we got off the boat, we were like, thank you so much. She was like, oh no, it's fine. Yeah. So it was really good.
Now, I know it's not got many days left of it, but did you use Genie Plus on the trip?
Yes.
How was that for you?
So the first time we used it, we didn't really understand it. Well, we thought we did, but we didn't. Where did we use it? I can't remember if it was Hollywood Studios or Epcot. We used it in one of those. I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember. But we used it in one of those and we just didn't, I think we got our first one at like 1 p.m.
So you got in there late.
Yeah, and what we didn't realise was it's 11. Is it 11 o'clock you can then get your next one?
Well, you can get your first one at 7.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours after park opens, so it would be 11, and then 2 hours after that.
Yeah.
Or after you've used your first one.
So we didn't know that bit at this stage.
Okay.
So we didn't really get that. And then once we'd done the 1 o'clock, all the like good rides that we would wanted to get on Genie Plus were gone. So we just had to get like, I think it was Epcot because we did Soaring, which there wasn't even a queue really, but we were like, well, we'll just get Disney Plus, we'll just use it. So we didn't really understand it that time, but then the second time we used it, it was a lot better, and we knew about that 11 o'clock.
Right, okay.
And it was much better the second time.
Yeah, well, now that's gone anyway.
But it's, it's going now.
Binned it off. Totally binned it off. Right, I'm going to give you your perfect day at Disney World.
Okay.
Your perfect 24 hours. Stay where you want, do what you want, eat what you want. What are you doing?
Okay, so I'm staying at Pop Century.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know maybe you think, you should choose a deluxe resort, but
you stay where you want, Louise.
I would stop at Pop Century, and then I'd get on the Skyliner. Oh, no, because I'd get on the Skyliner. I'd go over to Epcot.
Okay.
Have an early morning walk around World Showcase.
So you're not going on any attractions, just taking the vibe, just walking around World Showcase?
Yeah, because I think it's just a nice feeling around there in the morning.
Oh, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, it gets busy in the afternoon, I sort of noticed.
Yeah.
I'd go round to Soarin', go on Soarin'. Where I would actually eat, which I didn't eat at, is the restaurant, I don't know the name of it, the restaurant by Soarin' that turns.
Oh, with Chip and Dale Garden Grill.
Yeah.
With Chip and Dale and Mickey and Pluto.
Yeah, because what I've discovered is they have some of the food that's grown there.
Yes, they do.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I would go and eat there. Then I would go, I'd have my Guardians. It would just fit perfectly. Now it's time for Guardians.
Already sorted that.
Yeah, I'd go on Guardians, and then I would, then I'd probably just have to get on a bus and go and do Everest single rider.
You're going over to Animal Kingdom.
Do Everest single rider a few times. I'd have to do it single rider because I wouldn't want to queue so long for it. So I'd do that, and then also my friend is here with me, but she's
waiting. She's not coming on.
She's single riding as well.
Oh, okay.
And then, there's so much choice, isn't there? For like,
you've only got one day, remember?
Yeah, and then I'd go back to Hollywood Studios, do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Tower of Terror,
yeah,
and then Rise. Just no queues, straight on them all. And then I'd go over to Magic Kingdom. I'd watch Happily Ever After, and that would probably be it.
You're doing the 4 parks in one day?
Yeah, I would have to. That would be the dream, wouldn't it?
Well, if you only go to Magic Kingdom for fireworks, that's achievable.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
So, next trip then. Have you started talking about it and thinking about it?
Yeah, so we've started talking about it, but there is no like
money in the bank to pay for it.
Yeah, well, there's no major plans at the minute.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about it all the time, but who knows when it will be. And I think that's for me, when I got home, that's also part of the sadness, because it was my first time going, and I kind of came home and I thought, well, I just don't know when I will go again.
Yeah.
I know I will, but I just don't know when. But I'm sure I will.
Part of the fun and the adventure is the planning. Even if you've not booked it, it's the thinking about, maybe Christmas 2025 or 2026. And you can start thinking about it, then you can book it, and then you can start, planning your lightning lanes and, all that in advance. So, yeah. It's all about the journey.
Yeah, but we will definitely be back. We definitely will.
For more tears. Meanwhile, you can go and take your friend to go and see Hercules on stage next year in London if she loves Hercules, because that's coming to London.
I've seen that.
Plenty of things to keep the Disney itch scratched.
Yeah.
Well, lovely chatting to you.
And you.
And have a magical day. Always looking for podcast guests. If you would like to join me and chat all things Disney World, get in touch at PodMagical is where we are on the socials. Give us a like, give us a follow, send me a message, tag us in your pictures if you're going to be going over the next few weeks. If you are going to Disney World right now, it is very hot. Expect rain. Expect it to be very busy as well. We've still got a few more weeks of the American school holidays, and then when it gets to kind of like middle towards the end of August, they go back to school. So the last couple of weeks of our school holidays, American schools have already gone back, so it might be a little bit quieter. Remember as well, Genie Plus is in its last few days now. That's on its way out. It's going to be the regular paid-for Lightning lanes that you can book in advance, but you have to do it when you get there because they haven't got the facilities set up yet for us to do it in the UK. But they have actually just started going on sale, and it does seem to be the regular price that we're paying for the daily Genie Plus price as for the regular Lightning lanes. We have a new podcast in 2 weeks. That date, by the way, will also be the date of the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Yes, 2 weeks today, the 9th of August, will be the first Halloween party at Disney World. Where is the time going? All those pumpkins will be up. And also, if you want a Halloween wreath for your door, keep your eye on Shop Disney because there's Mickey Pumpkin Halloween wreaths that you see in Magic Kingdom going to be on sale there as well. Top tip for this episode. All right, this is a very quick top tip. If you know, you know. If you don't, try it. Top tip for this episode. If you're going for dinner at Whispering Canyon Cafe, or if you're going for anything to eat at Whispering Canyon Cafe, ask for ketchup. Even if you don't want it, ask for ketchup in the Whispering Canyon Cafe. That's all I'm saying. Brand new episode in a couple of weeks' time. Hit that subscribe button, then you don't miss it. Until then, please stand clear of the doors.